Good morning to our lecturer, Dr. Tan Kok Hong, and my fellow classmates. Welcome to our presentation from Group 3. Please allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Gan Zi Jun, and my student ID is 2103406. Today, we would like to present to all of you the method of preserving the traditional Chinese vernacular architecture in Daxu Asian Town, while it will be focusing on the Guang closed store. Before we begin the presentation, let me introduce the main content that we have in our presentation. First, we will make an introduction of the site to make sure all of you have a deep understanding before going through details. Next, we will be talking about the analysis and factors which affect the sites and also the chosen building. Furthermore, we will be talking about the repair and preservation strategies that can be applied. Lastly, we will be talking about conclusion as an ending. And there will be a video waiting you guys. Stay tuned.
Daxu Ancient Town in Guangxi Province, China, showcases stunning traditional Chinese vernacular architecture across the Liew River. Its narrow streets and well-preserved buildings exhibit unique features like distinct floor plans, doorways, columns, footings, and iconic horsehead walls. Despite facing threats from urban development, various methods and initiatives, including community-led projects and government support, aim to preserve its architectural legacy while embracing the future. The entire building uses traditional Chinese architecture techniques for construction, which requires many skilled technicians to accomplish. Each building element has their own unique construction method, which is still within the standards of procedure and will be showcased in future slides. The first factor that influenced us to attempt to preserve this building is to document the architectural heritage of the building, as there are limited amounts of information surrounding its uniqueness. The second factor is to preserve the cultural values of this building that is being threatened by the modernization of its surroundings. The third factor is to sustain the rich architectural heritage that Daxu Ancient Town offers.
Thank you, Sheng. Now, let's talk about the district analysis in our slide. First, this is the map of our site, which is the map of China. To be more precise, our site is located in the southern area of China, which consists of hilly and mountainous terrain, which is called as Guangxi district. And this makes the architecture here wonderful. Wow, to be more and more precise, the site is actually located in the Guilin town, which are well known of its picture limestone, peaks, and clear water. Wow, it is surrounded by the mountain and river in these locations, has led the building being constructed on slope, which directly influenced by the natural landscape. After sharing the district analysis, I would like to go in more details in our site, which is the historical evolutions. Many of you might still wondering, why do we choose the Guang closed door as our preserved building? Throughout this evolution analysis, we can say that it is the most well-preserved building with high historical value throughout the Daxu Asian town site. The evolution starts with the Siheyuan layout and the street structure, which occurs in the Shang dynasty, which is around 1000 BC. Wow, go towards the Tang dynasty, the town has become a business spot for the people, and the economic activity has become highly active due to its strategic locations. In this time, the Hui style architecture is a cross, which, spread by the business activity, originated from Huizhou. Wow! Lastly, the peak area of the town is in Qing dynasty, which is the dynasty that highly developed of water transportation. Then, it has become a closed store. After the historical evolution sharing, I believe everyone has interested on this Hui architecture style. Now, let's talk at the details that we could find in the site which share the same similarity. First, the horsehead wall, or can call as Ma Tou Qiang. It can be observed at the site with a clean wall and high sloping upper edge. Also the carving pattern on top. Secondly, the gateway, which in Chinese called as Men Lou. It is located at the entrance of the building which to showcase the identity of the owner. Its plaque also can be observed on the gateway. Thirdly, the carving on the wood, stone and bricks can be observed throughout the whole site, which is called as San Diao carvings. Lastly, the courtyard, which means to allow the water to flow into the house and symbolize the wealth come true. Four of these observations is the characteristic of Hui architecture style. That's all for my sharing. Now I will pass the floor to Chen. Going through all the factor and analysis, we can conclude that the strength in these sites are high historical value, well-preserved structural integrity, and high preservation of Huizhou architecture style. On the other hand, the vulnerability of environmental factors have made the structure on the site to be potentially damaged and also the aging structure becoming a risk to the user. Wow, this makes an opportunity for the cultural preservation which to utilize Guang Cold Store as the focal point of cultural preservation heritage.
Hi, I'm Yubim and I'm going to introduce the column and the footing. The material used in the Guang cross store is wood for the columns and stone for the column base and footings. The function of these architecture elements are works as a structure component that used to support the entire buildings. The stone base are used to prevent the wood column from coming into direct contact with the ground, blocking the ground moisture and protecting the base of the wood columns. And the picture on the right hand side showing the columns and the footing that we can find in the store, including the column with a plain rectangular stone base and a column with a drum shaped stone base with pattern on it. As we can see from the pictures, the footings are in good conditions, but for the wood columns there are some cracks on it and some of it the bottoms has rottens. Moving on to the structures, from the diagram we can see the column and the stone base are connected by the mortise and the tenon structures with not using any boards and nut. To preserve the buildings, there are some following restoration actions should be taken. The first is the crack repair. For the crack that with a width that below than 3 millimeters, we can use the polyputty to fill the cracks, and for the crack width that above than 3 millimeters but below than 30 millimeters, the crack can be filled by the wooden strips and secure them with adhesive. And the crack that have a width that above than 30 millimeters, besides the filling the crack by using the wooden strips, it must also be reinforced the column by fitting the iron hoops. To repair the rotted parts of the columns, there are two methods that can be used. For the column with a likely damage, we are using the Ealing method to repair it. We will remove the damaged area from the columns and replace it with the new wood. And for the column which has a more serious damage, mortise and the tenon repair method will be used. In these methods, we will need to set up a temporary support structures around the columns. Then we will cut of the rotten bottoms and replace it with a new wood by mortise and tenon joints. And lastly, we'll reinforce again the column by fitting it with iron hoops. Now we're moving on to the horse head wall. The horse head wall is the wall that encloses the whole buildings. It's built by the bricks, and its main function is for fire protection, used to block the fire spread to the neighborhoods, and also used for the aesthetic purpose. And the pictures on the right hand side show the horse head wall of our selection building. From it we can see the wall structure is in good conditions, just have some minor cracks and paint peelings on the wall. Move on to the structure. The diagram shows the decorative elements on the walls and its elevation and section. For the repair method, we will focus on the wall surface restorations. In the first, we will remove the finishing layer of the wall until the exposed of the brick surface, and then we will fill the uneven part of the wall with the brick strip for levelings. And then we'll apply a waterproof mortar layers on the brick surface and polish it after it dries. And lastly, we'll repaint the wall with a white colors, and we've done our wall surface restorations. And the last diagram is showing the sections of the wall after the restoration done. And that's all for my part.
And now we move on to the conclusion. In conclusion, preserving ancient architecture in culture as it constitutes a vital part of cultural heritage, bearing invaluable historical and artistic significance. Additionally, preserving ancient buildings contributes to the development of tourism, enhance community identity, and foster social cohesion. So, let's watch the video.
And that's all for our group presentations. Thank you for your patience.